Hey, I wanted to give a quick demo of the V3. This is our current state. This is 3.0.2. We ship basically every week, so there'll be some big changes that will be shipping later this week. But I just wanted to give a quick overview of how to use this current version of BuildBetter and what you can use it for and how it might be different from our version 2. So first and foremost, you'll see a big overview of just the sheer size of our chat. We really want to focus on the chat experience. We feel like digging through calls and transcripts is just not an ideal experience for really the product organization, product team at large. And so we spent a lot of time on how do we make use of the calls without you needing to dig through the calls. And so oftentimes these can be internal calls like product planning, strategy meetings, as well as external calls. So sales, onboarding, thing like that. And then you have access to all of your calls still on the right-hand side. If you want, you can still expand that. So I can go ahead and make the call view quite large and make the chat view quite small. And I can kind of have that still as my core experience. If I want, I can go into a call. I still have full access to transcripts. I can share specific snippets with my team. Everything right now is private, so if I wanted to share the call itself, I can still do that, but they do need access to this BuildBetter and this account in order to view these things. We also just added the summarization. Now, the summarization is really, really good. Most summarizations today, they kind of chunk up your call into specific segments. They look for keywords like action or do or something like that, and they miss a lot of context. They kind of miss an overview of the call itself. And with our summaries, we hold the entire context of the call, we identify the type of call, and then we do a custom template for that type of call. So you see here, it knew that it was a demo, it was an external call, it had a goal, key discussion points, and the next steps. Now, it might not be a substantial summary of the call, but it is an accurate one, and it does get the things that I wanted from that call done. If I go to another type of call, so this is with an agency that we wanted to hire for an ad, you can see it has a different type of summary for that type of call. And again, it's quite a good summary for this call, and it's way better than something that I would have gotten. And most importantly, there's nothing it missed. It really got everything I was expecting for this type of summary. I can copy this or share this with my team as well, and you have full access to this on all of your calls. So what else can it do? So that's kind of the main call view. Probably fairly familiar with that. Of course, you can search for a specific call. You can search for it by a customer, and then you can upload existing calls. So if you don't want to use our assistant that automatically records calls in Zoom, WebEx, and Google Meets, you can upload a call either retroactively or just use our auto recording assistant. So if we hop into the chat over here, you'll see that I did a digest. So let me actually show you one of the things I love. So this is a full ChatGPT experience. It's a lot of the same models that you're expecting. A few key differences is the amount of context it can hold. So this assistant can hold up to 50 pages of context, which is about 22,000 words. So unlike a lot of assistants today that kind of lose context over time when you start asking it more questions, this can go for 50 pages, which is weeks of content that you can continue to ask it. So for example, we've had it help with the pricing strategy. So I kind of gave it an overview of all the little things that we wanted to keep track of around pricing, how we wanted to communicate it, the matrix, and I just copy and pasted all of that. And then I said, okay, make me a chart for that. And then it uploaded the pricing matrix with those things. And if I wanted to change it, like, oh, actually turn that into the free plan, pro plan, it can generate a new pricing plan. So let's go ahead and do that right here. So if I were to say, update the pricing matrix where the starter plan only has 10 chat threads, I can send it a message, and then it will start compiling a new pricing matrix. And so you can really continue to iterate with it, whether that's a product requirements document, a scope, anything like that, and just have a brainstorm session with it basically around this. Now, because our product assistant is hyper trained on product knowledge, the information it knows and understands around how to do pricing, how to think about pricing, things like that, is substantial. So you're not just going off of just general knowledge on the internet. It's really task specific to help understand these types of dynamics that a product team might have. So you'll see here that it changed that to 10. So if I were to go to a new conversation, let's say we had a new moments or digest or a new pricing PRD, let's stay on the pricing, I can do a voice memo. So I just talked to my iPhone and I basically had a voice memo talking about the pricing PRD. And then I can just say, based on this call or voice memo, I want to generate a PRD about pricing. And so it will use that call as context and do a retrieval on that call. And then it will build a PRD based off of the information it gathers from that call. So I can use this as like kind of a Kickstarter for a lot of stuff. And unlike typical assistants that have no context for your organization, it can also retrieve. So it's in this specific thing, because I dragged it, it's only going to retrieve from the specific call, but it can also retrieve from all the knowledge within the organization. So if I wanted to say, write a PRD, it can not just use one call to retrieve from, but it can retrieve from all of the calls. And you can see here, I didn't give it any knowledge, and all of this is accurate. And you can slow this down and read it yourself. This is basically what I was writing about in the other chat. And so, it cited the call itself, a few times. You have full access to that. So whether it's generating documentation, understanding what your customer complaints are, we can search through the corpus of your entire organization, your internal calls, external calls, do summaries and updates about what people are working on, what was the takeaway from your meetings, all these types of things that typically take us hours throughout the week. And that's our current version. We're working a lot on improving our assistant, giving it specific workflows and jobs for specific tasks. You'll see some things that will continually be improving and shipping on every week. But that's kind of the core of the product. Super powerhouse for user research, for combining, finding themes, topics, ideas, having it generate documents based off of those, and then even more powerful when you start using it with your team, where same thing, we can get these summaries about team meetings, PRDs, updating documentation, giving it a document, asking it to update based off of a chat. So you can literally say, here's the existing document, here's a chat we had about it, now go update this document. It's really powerful what you can do, combining the data from your live active calls and then merging that with the assistant. Let us know if you have any questions, and I'm really excited to get your feedback on this.